And if you saw these today, the arguments that would come out. Fake, Photoshop, it didn't happen, I was there, didn't happen. I mean, that's what would happen with a lot of these now. But you guys have had some great choices here. Lenny gave me Pele, with the bicycle kick. I said, look, man, I don't know enough about the sport, but can I tell that that's an impressive photo looking at it? Yes, that I can do. And I was talking a little bit about this yesterday, too, where it's like, if I lived closer to soccer or football, whatever you want to, right? I could get all the way in. I could get in any sport if I'm close to it. If I lived closer to Columbus, I would be a bigger hockey fan and all of that. I can get into it. One of the big suggestions, and this ironically was the anniversary, was yesterday, was the 1980 men's U.S. Olympic team beating Russia in hockey. Do you believe in miracles? That photo on the cover of Sports Illustrated of all of them celebrating and going crazy, and I mean, they were counted out in it. That was Lake Placid, was it not? That was an iconic moment. So in 1980, when that's going on, I'm about 4. My brother, again, 7 years older than I am, going absolutely crazy. And that was when everybody watched the Olympics, you know what I mean? Because there was 3 channels, and, Channel 5's a little fuzzy with the weather, right? And so, everybody just watched the same thing. And that was a unifying moment. Today, people would tell you, they're rigging it for the morale, for people to have faith in America again. Nobody would believe anything now. God bless the internet. It's literally destroyed everything. Hard to hate on the Miracle on Ice photo there. That'd be a good call. Matt has it as Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr. after hitting back-to-back home runs. Says you'll never see it again, probably. And that's a pretty cool photo. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that one. I think you're more likely to see, and I think we already are seeing it, father-sons in the NBA more so than Major League Baseball. Again, LeBron's basically telling you, get ready, that's going to happen with one of my sons. Michael has this photo of De La Hoya punching Mayweather. And look, I hate Mayweather, and so I like that. I don't think that's as iconic as some of these others we've been talking about, but I respect your choice there. And I'm happy you sent it in. So, a couple of these that got talked about yesterday, and some of you guys are bigger race fans than I am, although I do enjoy watching racing. So there's a couple of different Earnhardt options here. There's Dale after winning the Daytona 500. And it had taken him a while. He had done everything. And it was a while before he had got his Daytona. And that's sacred ground for NASCAR. And when he comes down the lane, every other driver, every last one, is standing there so he can stick his hand out of the window and they can all high-five him as he's going by. The amount of respect in that for a guy called the Intimidator is impressive. Dale was a racer's racer, right? And as though they would say, not afraid to put the bumper to you, right? And he would do that. And there were guys who hated him. And I mean hated him, but they respected him. And that is an impressive photo. Again, that's a solo sport. Yes, the pit crews, and yes, the ownership. Yes, I know all of that, right? But when you're on the track, it's you. And so, those guys compete at a level that a lot of other sports don't even. And so they know what it takes. They know it's on you. They know, dude, come turn 4, you better have it, right? They know that. And so to watch those guys stand in that line and show him that respect after he gets his Daytona, because they all know what Daytona means. It means the same thing to all of them. A little bit more to Dale. Then you could go with Earnhardt Jr., as some of you have done and have sent me that photo. He wins, I believe, was it the Pepsi 400 at Daytona? He gets out of the car, it's in the infield, and he's standing on the hood of the car. This is his first trip back to Daytona after his dad had died. That's an iconic photo. And I gotta be honest with you, I thought about it all night last night after somebody sent it in. And I'll tell you why. Today, sports fans tell you NASCAR rigged it for Earnhardt Jr. to win at Daytona because his dad had died. Nobody believes Dale just gets it done because he's an Earnhardt and it's in the blood, for crying out loud. They bleed Castro, baby, right? Like that today, it would be NASCAR rigged it. Now, maybe not, as a matter of fact, because we just had the 500 over the weekend, and I bet that race. I lost, but I bet it, right? And William Bryan kind of, well, let me just crash half the field here and go get my win. And like, that's kind of what happened. Nobody said NASCAR rigged it. They said NASCAR made a bad call with the caution. They made a bad call of this. Should have finished the lap before. There were a lot of NASCAR coulda. Rigged it for William Bryan. You never once heard it. That I find very interesting about that sport. But I feel like today, if the story's so good, it's like, dude, that's a movie story. Nobody's going to believe you. And Earnhardt Jr. going to Daytona after his father passed away. Crashed and died, for anybody that doesn't know about Dale. Right? Like, that would be hard to do. What my dad did was not race car driving. It was much safer than that. I would not want to stand behind that man's pulpit. Not the year after he died. Not at all. I chose a business similar, right? I mean, I did. I mean, very similar. Mass communication device, right? Absolutely. But I would have a hard time doing that. As a person whose emotions are on the front of his face, you know what I mean? That would not be the easiest thing for me to do. I think today people would be very dismissive of Dale and talking about how NASCAR handed it to him. And that's one of my least favorite things that the internet has done. Nobody believes anything anymore. Fake. That's not real. Fake. You can tell. Oh my God, dude, they're not even there. Space is made in Hollywood and made in a Hollywood basement, right? It's like, yeah, go to the sock condoms, guys, to get educated on space, right? And I mean, people are just lunatics. But I really feel like that would happen there. Dale's a great choice coming down the stretch there. Everybody's shaking his hand. Now, Levi had a great choice. And most people won't know this story. I believe the guy's name is Alex Honnold. I believe I'm saying that right. And Alex is a free climber. And what free climbing is, he climbs, well, mountains with no ropes. There's no sticking the carabiner in the side of the mountain, this and that. Homie free climbs it. It is insane. And he actually had a documentary. I went to a small theater in Akron to see it. I think it was like the Lamplight or the Searchlight or some theater in Akron. And very few theaters had it. And it was called Free Solo. And I got to be honest with you, that movie almost made me sick to my stomach. Because some of the views, I knew I was safe. It's like, Dan, you're not going to fall to your death in the theater chair. You're fine. What are you crying about? But I was like sitting there and my stomach got sick. Like watching that, I was like, this is that movie was intense. As a guy who has bashed the movie theater as often as I have, let me tell you, I'm happy I saw Free Solo in the theater. That movie deserved that kind of screen. That story, now you can see it. I think Paramount Plus has it, maybe Hulu. If you've never seen it, I would urge you to watch Free Solo. That's a great documentary. Chris has Ricky Henderson breaking the stolen base record. If you don't remember this photo, Ricky has the base in one of his hands. He's kind of got both arms up in the air. And Chris is making the point, like, dude, not only is this photo iconic, because it is, but that record ain't going away anytime soon, man. And he's probably right. He and I went back and forth on this a little bit. As I told him, I was like, well, man, I was like, they've kind of almost erased base stealing in baseball. Now, I know over the last couple of seasons, we've seen some rule changes, and we're starting to see it a little bit more. It's not as common as it was back in Ricky Henderson's day. It just wasn't. Every team had one or two guys. That was their thing. This guy knows how to steal bases, right? Just get the walk and steal second. We'll be fine. And Ricky Henderson was the guy of guys at doing that. There was a little bit more chess in that back in the day. And Ricky was definitely all-time great at stealing bases. We have only just scratched the surface of this. By the way, I haven't even gotten to two of maybe the most iconic pictures of all time, whether it's sports or any type of photo. And we'll run you through those. We'll do it next on Rock 106.9.
He's a bad influence. But nobody is stupid enough to take him seriously. The Stansberry Show. Rock 106.9.
Welcome back to the Stansbury Show, where you and I have been discussing iconic sports picks. I kind of asked the question if Jordan taking off from the foul line is the most iconic sports pick of all time. A lot of you said yes, and I said, well, if you don't think it is, I'd like to see what we think it is, right? I wasn't looking to argue with anybody. I'm just kind of, interested to, kind of mix it up a little bit. And a lot of you have already texted this in, 330-450-7625. Are you going to talk about the LeBron block, buddy? Like that photo was kind of iconic for the Cavs to get their championship. Not wrong there. Kind of hard to hate on that one. You could maybe even go with Kyrie Irving shooting the three in that game, because that was pretty iconic there as well. A lot of people want to make it about Miles swinging the helmet. All right. I mean, I get it. It's very funny. My buddy Dustin kind of put that forth, the biggest Browns fan you'll ever meet. Derek has Hulk Hogan staring down Andre the Giant. Okay, it's sports entertainment. I mean, I guess I kind of have to allow the wrestling to come in there. Brian actually has the Dream Team all in a row there with their medals on at the award ceremony. That's kind of hard to hate. The Dream Team reinvigorated the love of basketball in this country. I was the perfect age to get wrapped up in the hysteria of that. And that was a big moment for us in my generation, for sure. That felt like a very big moment. I can't deny that. A lot of people are like, dude, you're giving all this credit to Michael Jordan. Let's go with Dr. J, who did it earlier, and there were some great photos of Dr. J. And let's be honest, plenty of those NBA stars, and I would imagine even Michael Jordan, kind of looked at Doc and was like, I kind of want to do what Dr. J's out there doing. Randy Johnson obliterating the bird with the baseball. Yeah, here's the thing. If you just ask, is this, I forget even how I asked the question. I think I said best, but iconic, right? We kind of stay within those parameters. Is that an iconic photo? Yes. And I mean, you couldn't get away from that highlight for 2 weeks straight. It was everywhere. As a matter of fact, it's still a couple of seasons ago, my buddy Dustin actually hit a golf ball into a tree, and he hit a bird. And you just saw feathers go everywhere, and the bird just fell out of the tree. He just turned at me on the tee box. He's like, dude, I just Randy Johnson to bird. I was like, yeah, you sure did, buddy. You sure did. You rifled that ball right into that tree, man. Yeah, Randy Johnson hitting the bird. That's a good choice there. Aaron Rodgers on the ground with his helmet halfway off, looking all dazed and confused. That's a good choice there. Bo Jackson, no shirt on, shoulder pads for football, and the baseball across his shoulders, holding that poster. I mean, I had it on my wall, and every one of my friends had that on. If Bo Jackson's career wasn't cut short, and he was able to see the end of it, I believe he would still absolutely be seen as Bo was the dude, man. Where we kind of look past him a little bit these days, I think unfairly. But yeah, that Bo Jackson picture was iconic for sure. Joey Chestnut shoving the hot dogs in his mouth. Okay, I got a couple of Baker Mayfield picks here. I'm assuming that's trolling me. That's very funny. I'll take it. I will take it. We talked about Dale Earnhardt going down and being congratulated by all the other drivers. That one's really good. That one's really good. Iconic, Schwarzenegger there. If you consider bodybuilding a sport, Matt says here, the arm stretched out, that thing, that was an iconic photo. It wouldn't be my pick, but it is an iconic photo. Again, a lot of Dr. J's here, and a couple of them that I haven't mentioned yet. Dwight Clark, from those San Francisco 49ers games. That pick was the pick of the NFL for the longest time. If somebody was going to use stock footage and talk to you about the NFL, that pick from that catch from Dwight Clark is totally going to be on that list. Len Dawson on the sideline smoking a cigarette mid-game, I believe it was. Is that a Fresca at his feet, I think? And he's just huffing down a heater, literally on a folding chair while playing in that game. First, if NFL fans today saw a running back have to sit on a folding chair, I know he wasn't a running back, I'm just throwing stuff out. If fans saw an NFL star having to sit on a folding chair today, poverty franchise, poverty, get him out of there, save Len Dawson, get him out. Like, they would freak out about that, and it's just like that was just standard. And again, smoking a cigarette on the sideline, you don't think people would freak out? Really? Go back and look at when everybody was freaking out, myself included, over LeBron bringing a glass of wine to the sideline. I didn't love that. I gotta be honest with you, I didn't love it. This photo of Len Dawson is kind of iconic. It wouldn't be my pick, but I understand why people do have that up there. It's pretty high on the list. A lot of Albert Bell pointing at his arm. I would have given it to you, but it was kind of proven he was cheating a little. Right? Now everybody, welcome to baseball, welcome to the home run era. But like, I think that will reduce the legendary aspect of that photo. The one that so many of you mentioned, and this, if there was going to be one pick that rivals the Jordan from the foul line, it would have to be this one. Muhammad Ali standing over Sonny Liston. Kind of arm kind of bent there. That is boxing's photo. That is the boxing photo. That is the pick from the entire sport. And again, do you have any idea how much people would hate Muhammad Ali today? Now, they hated him then too. Like, everybody pretends they loved Muhammad Ali forever. They didn't. You think that guy's politics were flying in the 60s? Baby, let me just tell you now, they hated it. They could not stand it now. They could not stand him. But even the politics out of it, the cockiness of that, people would lose their mindset. Look at how mad everybody gets at UFC fighters. And I've said, this is what it is. It's fight making. So, of course, they're just the new Muhammad Ali. So they're going to give you a little, but like, talking about guys' families, I'm going to murder you, I'm going to do this. I mean, Muhammad gave it, he would melt your ears off with the trash talk. These days, they'd be like, act right, act like you've been there before. But like, we love Muhammad Ali for that. If I was going to put one photo above Jordan's, I'm still going to take Jordan's as my pick. But is Muhammad Ali standing over Sonny Liston a very good choice? Yeah, I think that's obviously number 2 there for me.
You thought Stansbury was a mess on air? Check out the show's Facebook page at Stansbury Show. Rock 106.9.
Welcome back to the program. By the end of the hour, let's get you into Creed. Got those tickets for you. We've been talking about iconic sports picks. And Aubrey and Jeff both sent this in, and we hadn't gotten to it yet. So I appreciate you both listening and sending it in. Carrie Strug, am I saying her name right? Breaking her leg in the Olympics. It was on the vault, right? And if she didn't stick the landing, the U.S. was going to lose. She stuck that landing and broke her leg, and the coach is carrying her off. I got to be honest with you, this is how little I know about this. When Aubrey sent me the photo at my Facebook page, again, the Stansbury Show, you can find that. That's how you find all the socials. She sent me the photo. I was like, is that Marie? Right, I'm bad at that kind of stuff. So I did a little, crack research in the break, and I was like, oh, okay, no, that's Carrie Strug. And then Jeff sent that text in at 330-450-7625. Great photo. Now that I've seen it, I didn't remember it. But that's what these conversations are about, right? Not remembering it isn't the same thing as it not being a great photo, and that should be mentioned. That would be a tough thing to do. We give a lot of credit to athletes, for playing through pain. Put some dirt in it, tape it up and get back out there. Landing on a broken leg, my guess, not that easy. That should be celebrated. I mean, T.O. was celebrated and should have been for playing the Super Bowl on a broken leg. They didn't win. But, he was celebrated for that. Again, so many people just kind of want to stick with Sonny Liston or with Muhammad Ali over Sonny Liston. There's a couple of Mike Tyson's from when he had been upset in some fights. Yeah, I get it. I get it. But none of those Tyson photos overtake the Muhammad Ali photo for me. And so if you're in the same sport and I can't easily put you past a photo from your sport, it's going to be hard for me to make it on my list as number 1 there. I would almost push back on the Mike Tyson thing and say the biting of the ear photo is maybe more iconic than him being, hit and knocked to the mat there. We had talked a little 92 Dream Team. A couple of people had sent me that photo of them standing there at the award ceremony. Mike got lucky enough. He said, my dad and I went to the Olympics in 1992. We got to see the Dream Team play. Wow. I've been very lucky in my life. I have seen just about everything I want to. I've been to a World Series game. I've been to NFL playoff games. Never been to a Super Bowl. But I've been to most things. NBA Finals. I've been to most things. I've been very, very blessed in my career to get tickets to things and see more events than anybody should get lucky enough to see. The 92 Dream Team, man, I got to tell you, most people can't tell me about events they've been to, and I'm like, man, I'm really jealous of that. Most people can't do that to me. I've been very lucky. There, I'm a little jealous. I'm a little jealous of that one. That one feels like, man, you saw the Dream Team in person? Especially back then. If you come up to me in 91, 92 and say, hey, man, what do you willing to do for a Klondike bar, right? Like, what would I do for 92 Olympic tickets? Man. To see Mike and Larry and Magic and all of that, man, like that would have been something else. Like, what an experience, man. That is, that's a very good choice. Chris says Kobe with a torn ACL taking free throws. Yeah, Kobe known for the toughness. I'm not sure that would be the most iconic photo for me. It's an iconic moment. I feel like that's an iconic moment. The photo doesn't necessarily resonate as well for me as some of these others. I understand not everybody listens to every segment of the show, can't, and I appreciate that. So a lot of people are telling me about the Dream Team. Not the Dream Team, I'm sorry. The U.S. Olympic team, 1980, the hockey team, beating Russia there, which almost feels like it's kind of ripe to kind of have come back and have happened right now, right? Yeah, that, and I believe the 44th anniversary of that was yesterday, if I have my math right. I'm pretty sure that happened yesterday, which you would have thought that would have started this conversation on my Facebook page yesterday. It didn't. I've had that photo. I'll tell you what happened. I saw that photo of Jordan again. It was about a week ago, and I was like, all right, just stick that in your pocket. We'll find something to do with this. I'll find a way to get this. I'll find something to get me into some conversations here. And then it hit me yesterday. I was like, oh, I think that might be the best sports pick of all time. Watch now as they can't wait to tell me how wrong I was. Right? And so I was like, let's see. And I was interested to see what people would say there. I got a lot of this Hulk Hogan, against Andre the Giant stuff. We talked about that in a segment prior. It's sports entertainment. I mean, and a lot of people think that's what the NFL is. So if we're going to, edge them in, then it's probably a little unfair to keep the wrestling out. I obviously was a bigger fan of wrestling when that photo was taken than I am now, although, again, like anything else, if it's close to me and I can get tickets and go, am I going? Sure. And do I watch the Super Bowl of what they do? Absolutely, sure, right? I'll kind of keep my eyes on stuff. I know you guys enjoy that stuff a lot more than I do, which is why I try to at least keep my eyes on it and stay up to date, at least with, like, the main things that are happening. Ricky Henderson with the stolen base record. For me, it's Mike, man, and I think it's just because, well, Nike did such a good job of telling me he was the best thing that ever happened. And I've said, nobody talks about Bill Russell and his rings at all. I think the Mike would still be talked about these days because of the rings, the 6-for-6, absolutely. But if it weren't for the Jordan shoe, I mean, how many kids every year do everything they can to get a pair of J's and never saw them play? Like, that's impressive. Like, we are in, think about this. Actually, I didn't think about this until right now, but think about this. We are in the age of the influencer. This is the golden age of every Tom, Dick, and Harry shelling out, buy this chips and liquid death. It just happens to be between these two bears for no reason. Everybody is selling you something. I do it. Dude, the influencer culture is exploded. That's Michael Jordan, man. You know that, right? Like, it was seen as crazy to take a team athlete and promote him in that way. They did it with tennis players, they did it with golfers, they did it with race car drivers, but like team players didn't do this. That's Michael Jordan. And so now everybody is Gene Simmons and Michael Jordan these days, everyone, but Michael's still top of the pops. LeBron's been running the NBA for how long? You ask any kid on the street today, you want a pair of J's, you want a pair of Brons? What do they want? They want them J's, man. That's Nike. Now, Nike is who's LeBron's with too, but like, there's a reason why LeBron can't overtake it. And it's because they still have Michael Jordan.
Like a wake and bake with an easy bank oven. The Stansberry Show on Rock 1069.
By the end of the hour, getting you into Creed. That show in November. 3 Doors Down, Mammoth WVH, Finger 11, and Creed, Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. We'll get those tickets passed out by the end of the hour. We may dig that sports pick conversation back up again a little bit next hour. I did want to get this into the program today, as I saw it yesterday. You know, as I was talking during that sports pick conversation, I said, you know, Michael Jordan kind of kicked off. You'd be surprised how many times throughout the week somebody will reach out in the messages like, yo, man, I'm kind of going through this. What would you do? You know, and I love that. You know, I said famously, you know, back in the day, one of my dream jobs would have been to have the Adam Carolla job on Love Phones. I would have loved that job, and I think I'd been pretty damn good at it for months. But you can get advice everywhere now. Some of it good, some of it bad. I've given you good advice. I've probably given you some bad stuff too. And one of the things I've said about the internet is it's a dangerous thing because, like, you can have a crazy idea now, and then you can go find that group of people who share that crazy idea. The world's flat, man. Dopes. By the way, the next time somebody tells you the world's flat, ask them how many space agencies there are in the world. When they tell you NASA's the only one, just laugh and walk away. Right? Like, just kind of laugh and be like, all right, we're done here. Right? And just kind of walk on by. There we go. But you can get advice everywhere. So I saw this article, the New York Post, about a guy who runs the Daddy Center. And I was like, woof. That word kind of creeps me out. I don't really like it a whole lot when women use it in sex. I gotta be honest, it's not my thing. If it's yours, I don't think you're a criminal, and I don't think we should kick you off the planet or anything. It's just not my thing. I find it even more weird when, like, Southern men my age will be like, "And my daddy," and it's like, dude, it's just like that. I don't know. It's weird, man. It's just a word I don't get down with. So I thought for sure that's what this was going to be about. Like, you know, teaching older men how to handle their 19-year-old sugar babies. I thought for sure that's what it was going to be about. But it's not really. What it is about is 5 pieces of advice to help you land your dream woman. Now, some of you already have her, and God bless you, right? Some of you thought you had her and can't wait till she dies to come out and get the actual one, right? Plenty of that going on, too. So let's take a look at what the man who runs the Daddy Center, again, 220,000 subscribers to his academy. I'm sorry, it's the Daddy Academy. I've been misquoting this. I'm sorry. That makes it actually sound worse. But a 2009 research found that women, 80% of men as unattractive, they found. I feel like that's a little high. But so the dating scene's getting tougher. It is. Absolutely no denying it is. You find a halfway attractive woman with a little bit of cleavage and she puts a post on social media, 10,000 likes. You get a guy out there with like the best piece of information you've ever seen in your entire life, 3 likes. Who's running OnlyFans right now? Female creators. The future is female because we've turned kind of being slutty into being virtuous. We've kind of done that a little bit, right? So the future is definitely female in that regard. There's no denying, right? And the dating scene has gotten very competitive. I think all dating apps have done is make it a collection center for the best looking people on the planet, and dudes like me are just going to be sitting there going, "Nobody wants me, man." Right? Like kind of that old thing. So this guy's kind of teaching you how to get by it. He says the first piece of advice is pursue a passion project that gives you a sense of purpose. He says there's no bigger turnoff to a woman than a man who lacks drive and purpose. Really? A lot of them are dragging them to the store to buy them PS5s every day. So, like, I don't know if that's true. He says, pursue a passion project outside of the 9 to 5. Even better, turn that project into your job. He says, this is really number 1. Building yourself up as a man through the passion in your life and striving to make it the biggest thing it can possibly be. Your girlfriend will tell you, I hate the fact that he doesn't. And I wish it was something else because of what it has done to my life. But I love that he's good at it. And I love that he is passionate about the fact that he wants to do it and that he's good at it. She enjoys that end of it. There are negative things that come from it, plenty, and she enjoys those a little less. But because I'm passionate about what I do, care about what I do, it's important to me that I do it, is absolutely a driving factor for her. There's no denying it. He says the second piece of advice, this is again the guy running the Daddy Center, present the best physical version of yourself. He says, yeah, I know it sounds superficial, but looks matter. And this is an area where he says men can really help themselves. It's like, you may not be Brad Pitt in the face, but you can become Dwayne Johnson in the gym. And now I think that's going a little too far with the Rock thing there, but there is some truth in this. Men have a bunch of, women have push-up bras, men have beards, right? Like, that's how, you ever see a guy with like a long beard and he shaves it? It's like, no wonder you had that rat on your face, bro. Look at you. Right? Exactly. And so like we do these things, right? You wear slimming clothes that look better on you and this and that. And also what I would say about presenting the best physical version of yourself is it just makes you more confident, and confidence is attractive. Arrogance is not. Confidence is. There is a difference. It's a fine line, but there is a difference in that. And the better you feel about you, the better you feel overall. And you will put your best foot forward. I would imagine that would be attractive to people. Have no problem believing that. Nobody thinks to themselves, well, some people do, that they want to go find the fattest person alive. I mean, those people that like to watch people eat cake and then sit on their chest, those people exist, but like there ain't that many of them, right? So like, present the best physical version of yourself. I have no problem believing that will help you land your dream woman. Cultivate your emotional intelligence here. Quote, every man should be in or should have done some therapy or life coaching. I'll snicker at life coaching. Therapy's a little bit better. That's just my opinion, and I'm right about it. The male experience is complex, he says. We tend to hold a lot of things in. We don't share a lot of emotions, and that translates to your dating life. Yeah, again, I've been mentioning this show a little bit more as I've re-binged it recently. I've seen it plenty of times, but Ted Lasso on Apple TV. And I've told you that show's the most woke show you've ever seen in your entire life. It's just they don't preach to you. All the jokes are after the fact. They assume you're already that person, right? Two guys who were having a fight. He goes, y'all got a woman up here. And he goes, you mean man up? He goes, no, you guys have been manning up. And that's what brought us here. You got a woman up now and get through to the other side of it. It's actually a pretty smart point. It's a pretty funny joke there, right? That emotional intelligence is one of those things men were taught not to have. Rub some dirt in it. Be a tough guy. Bootstraps, baby. Right? Like all that, just like that awful like dude stuff. Like we were kind of taught that. Emotional intelligence, I do believe, is an important thing, and the more of that you have, I believe the more interesting you will become. We got a few more of these. These are the surefire ways to land the woman of your dreams, so we'll give you those. And Creed tickets next, too.
Kind of funny, you can listen to him on your smart speaker.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
The Stansberry Show.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
On Rock 1069.
Just give me a couple of minutes and I'll pass those Creed tickets out. Took that opportunity to play one of my favorite Creed songs, What If? I've always liked that one. I like a lot of their stuff. Creed sucks, man. They suck, man. I'm afraid of my friends telling me that what I like kind of sucks, man. I don't care what anybody thinks about me, but I definitely care what everybody thinks about my musical opinion, man. So Nickelback, Creed, they both suck, man. Okay. I got it. We're on it. Absolutely. By the way, next week, what's the email I just got here? We will do Primus and Coheed and Cambria tickets. We'll get those passed out next week on the program. We have been talking about the Daddy Center. This is apparently where dudes go in New York to learn how to pick up women. Now, this guy's advice isn't crazy. Like, a lot of those guys are like, more attention to the less attractive girl in the group will actually work. That does get it done. I've used that one a million times. It does work. But here's his advice. Pursue a passion, pursue a sense of things. It can make you more interesting. You can get tunnel vision. And I can't tell you how many times on a date a woman has got me talking about my job, and then out there trying to find the tub of lard. You just listen! Because, I've been there. Right? And so, that's suggesting a lot that women are just on there. These idiots, get to the room where you can learn. And I would agree with that. People have said this forever. Show me your friends and I'll show you your life. Now, we don't like those kind of statements today because I'm an individual, voila! But like, no, you're not. No, you're not. And birds of a feather can kind of flock together. There's a reason why when people turn into celebrities, everybody says, dude, take those friends from your home street and get rid of them, dude. They're all just hanger-ons. They're all just exploiting you for the money. Like, they're the ones creating trouble for you out there. Change your circles, right? Like, I agree that I don't know if you necessarily got to get people out of your life, but rotating more people into it, absolutely. I will tell you, this is when I'm asked to like do certain things. Like, I was just asked to be a public speaker at an event the other day. A listener of mine, Dan, reached out. He's like, yo, man, I'm kind of doing this really just, we kind of interview them. Do you have any interest in this whatsoever? And I said, yes, absolutely. Because of the kind of men and women, I would imagine, that are going to be in that room, in the context that can be made in that room. Get me in that room. I want to meet those people, right? I always say this. I'm looking for the soft landing spot when iHeartMedia tells me I'm no longer the guy good enough to do this. That's what I'm looking for in my life. So I take certain meetings. I go to certain things. I donate time with certain organizations because I'm building those soft landing spots for what I tell you every day. The only thing I think about every single day is what I do when I no longer do this. It's the number one thing on my mind all day, every damn day. That's why I obsess on the radio show, if I'm honest. This last piece of advice on picking up your dream woman. And I would like to pat myself on the back for this one a little bit. I believe I have this too, as most of you will tell me. This is why you listen. Be authentic, he says. Becoming a desirable man isn't about altering yourself completely, but rather about enhancing who you really are deep down. He said, you never want to change who you are at your core, although I would stop short of saying the word never. Plenty of people are rotten to the core, and you do want to change that, but I understand what he means. Says women can sniff out a fake way and it's an instant turn off to women. I would agree. Try to fake it, it will be arrogance, not confidence. Right? Like I said it about Baker. Baker's not confident, he's arrogant. There's a difference. He's arrogant. Tom Brady was confident. It's a very different. Patrick Mahomes is confident. Baker Mayfield is arrogant. It's a wildly different thing. They look similar to 19-year-olds, and I get it. Keeping it 100, you don't want the bank smoke. Right, I get it. But, like, in reality, he was arrogant, not confident. I actually think that's halfway decent advice there. Do have those Creed tickets. Let's get let's say caller 13 in. 330-450-7625. It's toll-free at 800-243-7625. That's how you get your Creed tickets in. Yeah, we'll start the final hour of the program. We'll do that next on Rock 106.9.
You're never too old for a good morning kiss. The Stansberry Show, Rock 106.9.
Welcome back to the Stansberry Show. We're on Rock 106.9. I want to tell you who won. Oh, it's Dave Nolfi won those Creed tickets. I wanted to tell you, I just completely spaced there. Sorry. Dave Nolfi won his way into Creed. I have Avenged Sevenfold tickets. We'll get you those this out. It reminded me that there's been a massive sports story that I have not yet addressed. There is something going on in college basketball that not only college basketball, college sports is kind of needed. Caitlin Clark